Okay, so as I said, we often, have thought about our protein powders and protein bars as basically what we need to get protein in our diet. But why is protein so important, and why do we talk about getting protein in our diet as being, one of the most important things that we should be doing? Well, it's because proteins actually break down into something called amino acids. Now, there's 20 different amino acids that we know that protein-rich foods break down to. And those amino acids, basically a little bit like Lego blocks or building blocks, are put together in many, many different ways depending on the type of food that you're eating. So, for example, a chicken breast would have some of these 20 essential amino acids, or sorry, the amino acids, some of those 20 amino acids that would make up the protein portion of a chicken breast. You could also have something like lentils, which we know have got some protein in there and can be a good source of protein for vegetarians. They will have a different design of those Lego blocks to make up the protein that's actually in lentils. And it's the same for every different food group. Now, there's some of these amino acids, and there's actually 9 of them, that are called essential amino acids. And they're called essential because our body doesn't naturally make them in any other way. They must come from our food source. So it's really critical that we're actually getting these essential amino acids throughout our day so that our body can actually use them for really critical functioning. So for example, if we were to eat a piece of steak or a chicken breast or dairy products, anything that comes from an animal source will contain all of those essential amino acids in them in variations. So there will still be that different building blocks that will actually make them up, but they will contain all of those 9 essential amino acids. Now, we often talk about vegetarians being a little bit deficient in protein or having to be very cautious about their diet to ensure that they're getting adequate protein. And what that comes down to is a lot of, or most all vegan sources and vegetarian sources of food don't contain all of the 9 essential amino acids. They may have 9 amino acids in them, but it could be some of the non-essential ones in there. And that's just the way that they're actually built. So we know that when we do get that deficiency, it can cause a lot of problems in the body. So it's really important to actually replace all those 9 essential amino acids. Now, going back to my chicken breast analogy again, we often think of, protein-rich foods as being things like chicken breasts or eggs or steak even. But when we actually look at these, they're only made up with a small percentage of protein. So oftentimes it's probably around 50 to 60% that's made up of protein. But then you've also got things like fats, you've got vitamins and minerals, you've got water in there as well. So there's a range of different things that all of our foods have. And that's going to come in critically when I sort of talk a little bit further down the track about how these are, the muscle multiplier is quite different because it is the pure form amino acids. It's got nothing else with it that it needs to actually help to break down. Okay, so that means it's going to get absorbed a lot quicker. So our muscles is basically where all of these essential amino acids need to go to help build healthy, lean, strong muscles. But it's also where we go through something called muscle synthesis. And what this actually is our body stores these EAAs in our muscles and actually starts to break them down over time, or and it's not a very long period of time. It's like every day it starts to break down, and we actually turn over around 2 to 5% of our muscle most days. And it releases those essential amino acids for things that are actually critical to our body's functioning. So things that, is more important than just maintaining, really good, strong muscles, it's taken out of our muscles to actually do that job. So we need to constantly be replacing the essential amino acids into our muscles for that sort of storage and also for good, healthy, lean muscle. So we know that, certain foods are going to have the essential amino acids. Some of them are going to have a combination of the 20 amino acids and not necessarily all of the essential amino acids. But we need to make sure that these are actually getting into our muscles, because this is where we're going to get the best benefits from having them. And it's not always as easy as just going, oh, I ate a protein meal, that means it's all going to be getting into my muscles, job done. Our muscles, we've got to think of them a little bit like a safe, and to be able to get these essential amino acids in, it's a bit like the key code to a safe, basically. So we need to unlock exactly what is the right combination and the right ratio of these amino acids, or the essential amino acids, to make sure that they get into the muscles as best as they can. So with this particular formulation, as I mentioned earlier, it is a patented formula, and there has been a lot of research that's actually been done on the right combination and the right ratio of these pure essential amino acids. And we can be very sure that we know it is going to unlock that code and get into the muscles because of all the research that has actually been done on this product. So that's what makes it really, really unique from other protein products and powders out on the marketplace, in that it is directly unlocking that code into the muscles. It doesn't have anything else that it needs to help break down at the same time, so that you're getting that really quick and optimal absorption into the muscles. So again, research has actually shown that it is more effective than whey protein isolates at building muscle, and it is also more effective than BCAAs alone at building muscle. So the whey protein isolate, most people would know what that is. It's often what's used in whey protein powders or protein bars. It still has a place in our diet. So while we're talking about this being more effective at getting directly into the muscles, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have any other protein in our diet. It still has its place, because for starters, we need to be replenishing our amino acids on a fairly regular basis, so every sort of 4 to 6 hours, to optimize or minimize that protein synthesis that I spoke about, which is the breakdown of the muscles. But also, whey protein isolates have some great benefits in that they help you to feel satisfied and fuller for longer. And they're a slow burning protein and amino acid profile that will get absorbed into the muscles over the day. If you're wondering what BCAAs are, if you're in the bodybuilding industry or sort of doing lots of workouts, you probably would know what that is. But for anyone else, it's called branched chain amino acids, and they are just 3 of those essential amino acids. So it's just a small amount of those, not the 9 of them, just 3 of those essential amino acids. Now, I've already touched on this, but I think it's really important to reiterate as well, is that this product is absorbed almost immediately. So I mentioned that, again, going back to the analogy of that chicken breast, is something that we all think is quite a lean source of protein, right? Most of us would think, yep, that's a really high protein option to be eating. Now, if you actually have a look at the breakdown, a chicken breast would probably be around 55% protein, around 35% fat, which I know we all think it's a very lean source, but that is quite lean. But that's just what nature sort of provides us with, that combination. And it's also got vitamins and minerals. There is some water in there as well. So it's not just protein. And when it gets into your stomach, it has to break down all of those ingredients. So there's a bit of it's not a fight, because it's naturally what we're supposed to be able to do, but we need to be able to break down all of those ingredients. It does slow down how our body can actually absorb those essential amino acids. So it's a much slower process. And it also means we're probably not going to absorb every single component of the amino acids that was in that meal. Some of it will just not get digested. With this particular formula, we know that we've, got the patent that shows that it's the right combination at the right ratio to get absorbed almost immediately. So it's a really quick acting. And as a result of that, what we get people do and the recommendations for when to have it is first thing in the morning. So on an empty stomach and around 20 minutes before having anything else to eat. And the benefit of that is you've got nothing else in your stomach that it's going to start to compete with, and you're getting full and optimum absorption before anything else hits the stomach, and it's got to sort of compete with that. So that's the ideal time to have it. I know some other people, particularly, if they're quite active, maybe having it sort of, during or after their exercise, and that is totally okay. But for what we would call the everyday actives, and the majority of the population, I guess, that 20 minutes before you eat anything else in the day is going to be the best time to have it. So who is this product actually for? Now, I know we've had some feedback and a lot of questions from you guys around, well, I don't really go to the gym and I don't sort of, lift weights. Is this product actually for me? Because, we understand the name Muscle Multiplier. It sounds like you're just about, building those muscles up, trying to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or the Hulk. I've got two kids, two little boys under 10. So we are all about superheroes here. So we'll go with Hulk. So it's not just for that. It's not just for people who want to really bulk up. Muscles are so incredibly important for every single person, and particularly for people as we age. Now, I mentioned before that we actually turn over around 2% of our muscles most days. As we age, that becomes even more. So we actually lose quite a bit of muscle mass, every decade. It can be sort of, quite a substantial amount. And it is what leads to a lot of problems as we do age as well. So it's really important. This is not just for bulking up. And I know a lot of, I don't want to genderify this, but I know a lot of women have been contacting me about this sort of a little bit going, oh, is it really for me? I'm not sort of, wanting to bulk up in the gym. Absolutely. Look, this is for everyone. It really is, because we know that muscle is so, so important to how we actually age. Our body composition. So if you want less fat in the body, then it's better to actually build a little bit more muscle. You're not going to look super bulky. It's just going to help you to look a little bit leaner if you've got more muscle. So let's go back to who is exactly this product for? Well, I think pretty much everybody over the age of 15. We do not recommend this during pregnancy or breastfeeding, but otherwise this is pretty much a product for everyone over the age of 15. Of course, if you have medical conditions, please make sure to either check with one of our naturopaths or to check with your doctor before taking it as well. So the first group, which I think is really important, is a group that I call the everyday actives, which I would say this is sort of where I fit into. I am certainly not a gym junkie, but I like to stay active. I love to walk. I still, I go to boot camp a couple of times a week. I just like to stay, for me, it's about my mental health as much as it is my physical health. But I just like to be active and outdoors. So I definitely would say I'd fit into this group. And you don't have to be doing even that amount. If you're just going on your weekend walks and things like that, you still need to maintain really good muscle, lean muscle. And this product would definitely be suitable for you. A group that obviously we all know about, this is going to be quite suitable for people who are going to the gym, particularly if you're doing the heavier weights, but anyone who's going to the gym as well, it's also going to suit. Now, another group which I know we kind of don't talk about very much, with Amway and with NutriWay, but I know one of the biggest, I don't like to call it a fad, but one of the biggest sort of, new trends, I guess, that has been coming through in both health and weight loss is intermittent fasting. And there is some great research coming out that's actually showing, quite a lot of benefits around intermittent fasting. But one of the downsides of fasting, particularly for longer periods of time, and I know the 16-8 method has become very popular lately, and that's where you don't eat for 16 hours and then you only eat in that window of 8 hours per day. So a lot of times people may be finishing eating up at 8 o'clock at night and then they're not eating their first meal until 12 o'clock the next day. Now, as I mentioned, protein synthesis is always taking place. So your muscles are always pulling out those essential amino acids that your body needs for, those really important functions to keep us alive until the next meal, when you want to really get those essential amino acids back into your muscles to replenish and repair your muscle damage. So when you're doing a longer fast like that, we know that there is more of a breakdown in the muscles and more release of those EAAs. So it's really, really important to actually be putting those back as quickly as possible. And this is a great product because you can have this, as you're about to break your fast around 20 minutes before that. And it means that you're going to be getting that repair to the muscles, but more importantly, like helping to build that lean muscle mass there. And hopefully reducing any of that damage. And then healthy aging. So, I mentioned before that protein and building muscle is even more important as we do age. Now, we often, think, as we're getting older, we might start to sort of, bend over, we might be quite frail, or we often think of it as being brittle bones, and that our bones are sort of, getting, aging basically. But what it comes back to is always your muscle strength, because if you think about what's holding your bones up, it is actually your muscles, and it is one of the biggest problems as we do age. Our muscles become weaker. We've got less muscle mass because we lose it over time if we're not doing the right things to maintain it. So what are the right things to do? Eating a really good diet that's got plenty of adequate protein in there, ensuring that we're staying very active as well, because that is essential to help maintain muscle mass. And also we can start adding in these EAAs that we know are going to be helping to build that lean muscle mass as well. So this is a great product, not about necessarily bulking up, but for all of those different categories, and particularly anyone, who, and I always kind of have to choke this back a little bit because I'm pretty much in this category now, is from the age of 45. We actually start to lose muscle mass at a much faster rate. So we really have to be on this quite early. And yes, from when we're at the very young, ripe age of 45 is when we should actually be thinking about this. Okay, I'm just going to have a look and see how we're going with time. Awesome. I know I can talk for hours about this product. Okay, so how do we actually have this product? As I mentioned, this is quite different from a lot of our other protein powders and bars, which tend to have that very milky kind of taste and texture to them. So this is actually a clear product. So mixes clear, and it's not milky at all. So the recommended dose is 1/3 of a scoop to around 200 mils of water. Obviously you can change that to taste. I do find it quite sweet. I don't really have a very strong sweet tooth, so I will mix it in a really large sort of shaker bottle of water and just sip on it sort of slowly in the mornings. It is free from any added gluten. It is free from GMO ingredients as well. There is no lactose or dairy in this product. It is sugar-free. There is less than 10 calories per serve, so super low in calories. And also it is suitable for vegetarians. Now, if you've got anyone who is vegan, the main source of these essential amino acids are from fermented sugarcane and beets. However, occasionally they do actually source them from lanolin, so that is made from wool. Which means that we can't call it 100% vegan, but it definitely is suitable for vegetarians. So this is a great option, for people who maybe weren't able to have some of our other products, maybe because they had a gluten intolerance, or maybe because they had a dairy intolerance, then this is a fantastic product for them. Now, do you actually replace this product? Do you use this instead of having our other protein powders and bars and things like that? So the answer to that is no. We would actually recommend, that this is an addition to having a really good diet, which is where your protein shakes and bars will be in your diet as well. So with this particular product, we do recommend, as I mentioned before, having it first thing in the morning and around 20 minutes before you have your first meal. So if you're eating later in the day, then you can absolutely push that back, particularly for people who are doing the intermittent fasting. But ideally have it 20 minutes before you're eating anything else, just so that it doesn't have to compete for the absorption. Now, that protein synthesis that I've spoken about, that breakdown of the muscle, that actually occurs, right throughout the day. So we still need to have other sources of protein in our day. It's not sort of the one hit wonder and that's it for the day. Our body constantly requires us to renew those protein sources throughout the day. And as I said earlier as well, the other benefits of your protein sources that come in your protein bars and powders and your foods that are rich in protein is they also have other ingredients that are really important to help us with satiety, that slow absorption, which makes us feel a lot fuller for longer. And yeah, it's just got other benefits to it. So if you've already been doing, say, one protein shake in the afternoon, then you can absolutely have this in the morning as well as taking the protein in the afternoons. If you do have any concerns, so, maybe you're sort of wondering if you're having too much protein, particularly if you have any medical conditions, please, please, please do speak to one of our naturopaths. You can still book a free consultation online with any of the naturopaths at the moment. I believe they're sort of booked out for a couple of weeks in advance because they've been very popular. But if you just go onto our website under the Business Centre pages, you should be able to see the link there. And it's free at the moment to just go through your supplements and see what's going to be the best plan for you. All right, so let's take a look. As you guys would know, it actually launched, it says today, but that was 2 days ago. So we have actually launched it, woohoo! So it did become available on Monday. I know a lot of you have already got your hands on it. I've seen lots of photos coming through on Instagram, so great work, guys. And already getting some great feedback around the taste and, the feel of it. So fantastic there. It does have that wild berry flavor. So it tastes delicious. It is, in my mind, it's probably a little bit sweet. I know a lot of people would prefer that, but like I said, if you do think that, then you can mix it with just a little bit more water, which is what I do. It's also lower in sodium, as I mentioned, it's low in calories, but also low in carbs, and it is caffeine free. In regards to pricing, in Australia for IBOs is $69 and for you guys in New Zealand is $76. So it is now available on the website, which is very exciting. All right, so we want to make a very big fuss about this product, and I'm sure that you guys are really keen to do that and to help you to grow your business as well. So just some ideas on how you can do that. Like the first thing is obviously, take the product, learn exactly what it's going to do for you. And I remember meeting Dr. Sam probably around about 6 or 7 years ago now, and his big talk was around being the product of the product. And I think this is one of those products that is definitely, how you can build and help build your business with this, because once you start taking it, you start to sort of feel and see the benefits, then you can really speak from personal experience about exactly how people can take it and how, what they could expect to feel as well. Next is a demo opportunity. So this is very unique for a protein powder. I've seen a few of them just starting to come on the marketplace, but they haven't really gained popularity outside of, more the, I guess, your bodybuilding style health food stores. So this is a great opportunity to show people that they can have their protein without having to have it in that really big, bulky protein shake as well. And it can be great tasting. It doesn't have to be that milky taste all the time as well. So it gives them some variation in that. And that's a great way that we can just demo this product. Now, in times of COVID, unfortunately, it is a little bit harder to just make up a drink and sort of share it around amongst friends if you're at the gym or, out training with people. But, it's a great product if you can to try and get people to actually taste it, because I think, once they sort of taste how different it is from other protein powders, it's definitely going to intrigue them. And the other thing is, make sure you're sharing your experience and your journey on your social media channels as well. So I know I can see quite a few familiar faces here who have been coming along to our socials that sell on a Thursday. Tomorrow we are up to module 3. If you've missed the last 2, we do have them available on the website. It's on a page they're called Socials That Sell. But tomorrow, module 3, we'll be looking again at what you can and can't do with your social media channel. So if you are wondering the best way to help build your business on social media, and as we know, particularly at the moment, we've all had to change the way that we do business. And social media is definitely, how so many successful IBOs are really growing their business. And it is definitely about sharing the product, but so much more than that. It's about sharing the journey and, showing that lifestyle, not just for the product, but, how you can live your lifestyle around that product as well. So for more information on that, make sure you go onto the website and definitely join for tomorrow as well, where we'll be going through module 3 of the Socials That Sell. So that's my shameless plug there for tomorrow. Hopefully you'll be able to join me. All right, guys, that's it. We got through all the information bang on time. Wow, that's a first for me. So I hope that you enjoyed all of that information, and please, guys, do pop in any questions that you have. I can see a couple here in the Q&A box, so let me go back to that and go through and answer. So can it be taken along with whey protein? Great question. So ideally we want to have it as an independent supplement. So ideally, look, you can mix it in with your protein powders, but for optimal absorption, it's best to take it on an empty stomach around 20 minutes before any other food, and that includes the protein powders as well. So have it in the mornings, 20 minutes before you have anything else, and then you can go ahead and have your protein powders as you would if that's what you would normally have had for breakfast. Is it better to take after exercise instead of having whey protein shake? No, I would still have it in the mornings. So that is the optimal time, unless you're sort of really doing something that's very specific where you need to rebuild that after your exercise. But if you do sort of, have a very heavy exercise program, it would be best to speak to one of our naturopaths about planning that out as well. So no, I would still continue to have your whey shake with your muscle recovery after exercise as well, and have the excess muscle multiplier prior to. You mentioned fermented sugar cane. Does that leave traces of alcohol? I don't believe so. It would be very minimal, if any. If you would like me to follow that one up, just shoot me an email, and you just reply to the email that you would have got with this link for the webinar. Just reply to that, and I will follow that one up for you. And yeah, so that's right, Stacey, it's not recommended during pregnancy or breastfeeding. It is, one of our excess products. They all have very similar rules, regulations around them, which is only for over 15 and not during pregnancy and breastfeeding. Okay, so how is it different to the all plant protein powder? All right, so basically the excess muscle multiplier is a pure amino acid formula. So it only contains those extracted amino acids and only the 9 essential ones that our body really needs. So the all plant protein powder does contain all 9 of those essential amino acids, and that's why it's a good formula that is a vegan one, because a lot of times vegan foods won't contain all of the 9 essential amino acids. However, in the all plant protein powder, they're extracted from real food sources and they've got other ingredients in them as well. So it will also contain a small amount of carbs and fats and vitamins and minerals and other phytonutrients that naturally come along with food. So it is a bit of competition that those amino acids have to break down properly. This is those just pure essential amino acids that don't have to compete to break down, which is why we recommend this one around 20 minutes before any food, so that it has the ability to break down almost immediately and do what it needs to do. And whereas the all plant protein powder is going to give you that longer, slower absorption throughout the day. And again, you can have the excess muscle multiplier in the morning. 20 minutes later, if you were, we've done the Q plus breakfast quite a bit lately. So if we're looking at having things like the smoothies with your plant protein, or maybe your pancakes in the morning with your plant protein, then you can absolutely do that as well, but just take it around 20 minutes afterwards. Can you take it with supplements like double X and fiber? I'd be a little bit cautious. Again, just doing it 20 minutes beforehand will be best, because again, you're going to have that competition to actually break it down, particularly with the fiber, because that slows digestion. And that's a good benefit of fiber, because it helps you feel fuller for longer, but it's just going to compete a little bit with this product. And look, this is optimal. Just when I'm sort of talking, about ideally having it here, that is absolute optimum absorption. If you take it with these things, does it mean that it's not going to work? Absolutely not. It's just that this is, we've been provided this information to show that, when it was just taken independently, then it had slightly, it had better benefits. It was able to absorb almost immediately. Can you wait longer than 20 minutes before eating? Absolutely. So you don't have to eat within that 20-minute time frame. That is just, when we know that optimum absorption will take place. Is it okay to take after operation? Yeah, look, for anyone who does have a medical condition, no matter how big or small, it's always best to speak to their doctor. And if you do have any other concerns, just book a consult with one of our naturopaths as well to go through the history. But generally, it's really important to speak to a doctor, because there's so many other medications or things that may come up that they need to be aware of if there's any additions being added in. The scoop size, so why only a third of a scoop? Yep, so that is the recommended dose. I know it's a bit frustrating because the scoop is a little bit bigger. It was just, unfortunately the scoop wasn't available in a smaller amount, so it is just the third of a scoop there. Will my morning coffee affect this product? Again, ideally 20 minutes after you've taken the product, particularly if you've got milk in it, because again, that's got fats, proteins, carbs in there as well. But yeah, I'm talking absolute optimum absorption. If you're missing the mark by 5 or 10 minutes, I wouldn't be super concerned as well. So how would you take it if you need to take fiber 20 minutes before meals as well, which I know a lot of you already do. So either you could start taking this one, 20 minutes before the fiber and then wait another 20 minutes before eating. But again, look, this is really optimal, okay? So if you're missing that mark by even, if you have this and then 10 minutes later you have your fiber and then 10 minutes later you're eating, you're still going to be getting some of those benefits as well, and you still be getting a lot of benefits from it. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to just go back and check in the chat box. All right, looks like no more questions have come through there. So guys, let me know any more questions. I'll just wait a minute. I know there's always a bit of a delay. Otherwise, we might be good to go. Yep, no problem, guys. Awesome. All right, well, thank you so much for joining today. I hope you guys are just as excited as we are about this product. Like I said, it's not just for your bodybuilders. it is absolutely a product that is going to be fantastic for so many different people. And we've just got to, be shouting this one from the rooftops about how great this product is and how unique it is out on the marketplace as well. All right, guys, until tomorrow, hopefully you can join me for the socials that sell. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you again very soon. All right, guys, bye.